Hello, welcome back. Here's another video. I really enjoyed making the first one. I was very nervous and you can probably hear it in my voice, but actually I'm just going to do another one. So I have this beautiful frame mould that I got from Katie Sue Designs. Now it's just about palm size, but it's so much detail in it, and I am going to do, for the first pour, got all that detail, for the first pour I'm going to make it with some baby spice mica powder. Now I think this was a limited edition from Create and Bloom Crafts, but I'm also thinking I might put in a wee bit of Snowdrift, and this is available still on the website. Very fine glitter. Oops, spilling it everywhere. Very fine glitter. Look how white and sparkly this is. It's very hard to get sparkles on camera, so that's my plan. You can maybe see a wee bit better on the lid actually if I turn it around that way a wee bit. Very fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to also be using the Apex One Coat resin. I'll show you the box. Okay, so it says thick resin, thick one coat, and this is best for moulds that are quite thin. They're not very deep. So it'll be perfect for this, and it's quite thick. So what I do is I put it in a silicone cup. I have my little mug warmer, and I just let it sit there for 10 minutes or so, and that just warms it up nicely. So I'm going to mix up 40 mils of part A, 40 mils part B. I also have some little bead moulds if I have any mixture left over, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I've just added my part B hardener to part A resin and giving it a really good mix. You need to make sure you scrape the sides of the cups, and you need to make sure that you scrape the bottom. So can you see how it's a wee bit streaky looking? You keep mixing until it goes completely clear. Usually this takes about 3 to 5 minutes. So what I'll do is press pause, and I'll come back to you in a second or two once that's all mixed up. Okay, so that's us with some beautiful mixed resin now. There are some bubbles, as you can see, because I'm really terrible at mixing slowly, so I always mix a wee bit too quick and put bubbles in my resin. Not worried, because the Apex resin is such good quality, so usually any bubbles that are in the resin come up to the top and pop on their own. If they don't pop, I just give them a quick burst with a lighter, and that usually does the job. So let's move this over a wee bit so you can see a bit better. Okay, first thing I'll put in is the pink mica. Oh, I'm being so careful because it's looks like gold dust. I'm going to take a couple of skips. Oh, it's so tricky. It really is very fine, and it is very sparkly actually. I'm wondering if I'll need the extra sparkle of the glitter. Of course you will, Sandra. You will need extra sparkle. So let's mix this up first. Sometimes if I know the combination, I just put it all in at one time, but I'm kind of interested to see how much of a sparkle there is on this. I don't want it to be too, the glitter to overpower the mould or overpower the frame, but I also do want a bit of a sparkle in there. Again, you need to make sure you have scraped the sides and the bottom of your cup, because if you don't and you're left with tiny bits of resin that are not blended in, that are not mixed in, then it can cause problems later on and you'll see streaky bits in your finished piece, and we don't want that. Okay, look how gorgeous this pink is. It's actually quite hard to see on my pink stick. Lovely. I really like it, like really like it. But I'm just going to pin a tiny wee bit more sparkle. So as I say, this is the Snowdrift glitter from Create and Bloom Crafts, and this one is full, and oh no, that's the one with the pink on it. I don't want to do that. I'm going to take a very generous scoop and see if that makes a difference. It might be so fine that you hardly notice it, which is great as long as it's not too fine that you can't see it. Don't know if the light's very good in here today. I had to close the blinds because it's actually 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Scotland and it's pretty much dark. So I usually try and do any filming. I'm going to put another scoop in. Try and do any filming early. Just a wee tiny drop. But I'm a wee bit later today, and it actually feels as though it should be like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening by now. But soon it will be daylight later in the afternoon, and that's the best time of year. See, when spring starts to come round, definitely my favourite time of year. So many things I need to do this spring with flowers, seeds, planting, gardening, loads. Try not to think about it. Now I can see, I don't know if you can on the camera, but I can see just a very slight shimmer, and that is exactly what I'm looking for. So let's pour. Bring in a wee bit so you can see. Now usually people say to pour high, to pour low. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure if it matters. What I try and do is pour slowly and steadily, and just let the resin work its way into all the little spaces, gaps in this mould. Oh, I forgot, I'll need to switch on. I've got a heated mat that I got just before Christmas, which is amazing. So I'm going to switch that on. Now this resin normally my room's usually quite warm, so this resin will usually cure in maybe 2 to 3 hours, especially if it's quite a thin piece I'm pouring. It's hard to talk and pour at the same time. Right, let's wait and see what happens there. So I'm just giving time for the resin just to settle on its own. I don't want to be too quick to jump in and try and sort. But I'm going to give it some tapping. Sugaring. Because I do need it in every single crease. Give it a really good tap. This is a really well made mould. I had seen Claire's Crafty Corner use moulds from Katie Sue, and I had thought, oh, I bet you they're really expensive, but they're not actually, and they're so detailed. Giving it a good shake, try and get any air bubbles out. I'm just going to have a check and see if it's level. Usually I like to dome slightly because any shrinkage occurs once the resin is cured. I have to say though that the apex really doesn't shrink back very much at all. And I'm slightly obsessed about it having bubbles, so you can either use a lighter, you know, like a lighter for your hob, but sometimes these can damage moulds, and I'm a wee bit wary of using it on a new mould. So what I also use is some alcohol. Give it a wee shake, a couple of squirts, and that breaks the surface tension. I don't know if you can see that, but when you spray it on, it just pops any bubbles at the top. Now I can see one little bubble caught at the edges. I'm just going to catch it with my cocktail stick. Give one little bubble. It's been an awkward bubble. Oh. If I can bring it up to the surface and then pop. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to leave it. I'm going to actually put it on my curing mat, my heat mat, and I'll come back and let you see how it looks when we demould. See you soon. Hi there, that's me back. So my picture frame has cured beautifully, so shiny. So let's see, might be slightly worried about bubbles, but the mould is just easing away from the resin just beautifully. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to put this down and let's have a look. Now, the first thing I notice is how detailed this is. It's a matte finish, which I wasn't really expecting, but actually quite like. You could also, if you wanted to, you could do a different backing so that your frame had one colour and your backing was either open or white or black, depending what you wanted to do. So it's so detailed. I'm trying to see if I can show you close up. How lovely is that? What I'm going to try next, I'm going to try some gold powder. Let's have a look and see. So I have some floating gold pigment. I'm just going to put the tiniest, oh, it's quite dark, tiniest. In fact, I'll put that out the road, because it's not the first time that I've accidentally, oh, there you see, I've done it already. Some powder on there. Let me see if I've got a wipe, just to wipe that wee bit off. Okay, so taking a tiny little bit on my finger and very lightly dusting the mould. Let's see, how does this look? Oh, I like that. Right, okay, we'll keep going. This sort of brings out the definition of all of the detail in the frame. So again, I don't want to go too mad, but I do want to bring out some of that definition. Let's see. Oh, I do like that now. The gold and the pink goes beautifully. Okay, keep going. There's a couple of tiny bits that have possibly, oh no, it's okay, they're in the right place. Just talking to myself, just excuse me. So lovely and detailed. I'm trying to be really careful not to make a mess of it, because I do have previous convictions for spoiling it at the last moment. Can you hear those birds? The weather's been quite mild the last couple of days, but we do have rain, funnily enough, in the west of Scotland. Tend to be quite wet weather, like most of the time. Actually, that's rubbish. It's not most of the time, it just feels like most of the time. Okay, I'm going to take a tiny wee bit from here and just work from the lid so that I don't make a big mess by adding a big dollop of gold powder. definitely brings out the detail, doesn't it? Yeah, I must admit, I was kind of thinking that it would be a shiny mould, but actually, if I look at it carefully, not that carefully to be fair, it's not shiny at all. I didn't even think about that before I put the resin in. I might try this with a clay. I have a beautiful set of polymer clay that I've not played with yet, so I could do that for next time actually. Or do you think anything else would look good in it? Let me know in the comments if you can think of something else. Clay, resin. I do have some jesmonite, which would absolutely work, but I'm a wee bit wary of it possibly spoiling the mould, because I do quite like using it with the resin. Now, how much is too much? When is the best time to stop? Let's have a look and see. My hands are all covered in gold. That's lovely. I really, really like that. I wonder if I should... No, quit while I'm ahead. That's what I'll do. These little bits in the middle are fine. Now I just need to find a beautiful picture to put inside it. Thanks very much for joining me, and please leave a comment. What do you think I should make next? I think actually I'm going to try clay with this, but if you have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.